Have you ever felt it, the subtle pull, that soft electric whisper in the back of your mind, that maybe, just maybe, numbers are more than math, that behind certain sequences, behind the way certain digits repeat, align or appear in dreams, clocks, receipts, and reflections, lies something sacred, a secret language, a code meant just for you? What if those numbers weren't random? What if they were echoes, signals, vibrations left behind by the divine to gently lead you back to yourself? You see, not everything true is loud, not every answer comes with thunder. Some truths arrive gently, through synchronicities, through symbols, through the quiet appearance of the same number, again and again, until finally, something within you turns and says, wait, this means something, and that's when the journey begins. This July is one of those journeys, a moment, not of chaos, but of quiet turning, where the energies above begin to mirror the shifts within. And right now, as the planets move, as the veil between timelines thins, 6 sacred numbers rise to the surface, not as predictions, but as invitations, not as luck, but as light. These 6 are not simply calculations, they are frequencies, keys, openings, symbols woven into this moment in time with divine precision. Each one aligned with your path, your timing, your evolution, each one holding a particular vibration meant to activate something sleeping inside you. And if you're listening now, really listening, it means you were meant to hear this. You were meant to awaken now, not yesterday, not someday, but here, in the heart of this season, in the breath of this very July. These numbers carry power, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that shifts. Power that lives in clarity, intuition, alignment, rooted in ancient teachings from Buddhist philosophy, where numbers reflect the great cycles of birth, decay, and awakening, connected to planetary currents, the very same sky that shaped civilizations and echoed in the timeless prophecies of visionaries like Nostradamus, who saw symbols in the stars, and Baba Vanga, who foretold that certain numbers would re-emerge in ages of global transformation just before hearts begin to open. And now, here they are, 6 numbers, 6 currents of energy, each one arriving with a message. You are not behind, you are not off track, you are exactly where you need to be, and the signs are everywhere. Think of these numbers, not as predictions to believe in, but as mirrors to awaken by. They are maps, they are momentum, they are messengers, sent through vibration, not voice, guiding you toward prosperity, stability, creative fire, visionary thinking, and personal evolution. This isn't a game of chance. It's a cosmic alignment, a sacred unfolding, a moment where everything you've been feeling begins to find its name in numbers. And before we begin, before we speak these sacred frequencies aloud, I ask you to pause, not for me, for you, to step into this moment fully, to become not just a listener, but a receiver. Anchor this moment with intention, because intention is the magnet of manifestation. Say it out loud, or whisper it inside your spirit, or type it into the comments so the energy knows where to land. This July, I welcome transformation and abundance into my life. And once you say it, you claim it. The doorway opens, the current begins, and you don't chase alignment anymore, you become it. So take a breath and step forward, because now we begin. We begin not with noise, but with a vibration, a quiet shift, a subtle pulse, like something stirring beneath the surface of your spirit. That's how number 15 enters, not like thunder, but like a sacred breeze that carries the scent of newness, a signal that something old is ready to be released, and something new is waiting to rise. 15 is not just a number, it's a threshold, a cosmic turning point, a shimmering doorway between who you've been and who you are becoming. It's the energy that greets you when you know it's time to change the narrative, to shed the past, to walk toward the unknown with trust instead of fear. It carries the energy of the supermoon, that luminous moment when the moon draws closest to Earth, swelling not only the tides, but the emotional waters within us. Under its glow, everything feels more vivid, your doubts, your dreams, your desires, and it is in this heightened state of awareness that 15 appears. In numerology, it merges the bold independence of 1 with the wild, freedom-seeking force of 5. 1 says, I lead. 5 says, I shift. Together, they become a sacred call. I transform. This is not subtle energy. It's soft, yes, but not small. It's the kind of force that asks, what are you still holding on to? Not because it feels right, but because it feels familiar. Number 15 is an invitation, a spiritual permission slip. It's the moment you realize you are allowed to grow beyond the identity you once needed to survive. You are not the version of you shaped by fear, expectation, or repetition. You are something more ancient, more luminous, more whole, and 15 wants to pull that truth out of you, not with pressure, but with possibility. It invites you to reimagine your life, not as something happening to you, but as something responding to your energy. When you shift your vibration, the world around you bends in response. That's not fantasy, it's alignment. That's not luck, it's resonance. Under the energy of 15, you are asked to become the alchemist of your own timeline, to see yourself as the architect of the story you tell and the story you live. 15 brings the courage to say, I no longer need to carry this belief, this fear, this habit. It helps you see that holding on is not strength. Letting go is. That true transformation is not about force, it's about flow. And this July, when the supermoon charges the atmosphere with intuition and clarity, that flow is wide open. It's a river ready to carry you, but only if you stop clinging to the rocks of the past. So pause for a moment, close your eyes, feel into this. What are you ready to release? Not later, not someday, but now. What outdated version of yourself is asking to be gently laid to rest, so something brighter, freer, more you can rise? What old thought patterns have kept you in a loop that no longer resonates with who you're becoming? The answers don't need to be loud, they just need to be honest. Because number 15 doesn't come with pressure, it comes with grace. It comes with a quiet key to a door you've been standing in front of for years. And once you walk through, everything changes. Luck begins to appear, not as random chance, but as sacred alignment. You stop searching, you start receiving. Because number 15 isn't about finding your path, it's about realizing the path has always been within you, waiting for you to take the first step. And this July that step begins now. There is a moment in every soul's path where the lightness returns, after the letting go, after the deep inner work, after the quiet surrender, comes the rise, the breath, the joy. That's what number 23 brings. It arrives like morning sunlight after a long night, like a familiar melody in a place you didn't expect to hear music. Its vibration is bright, but not shallow, joyful, but not naive. It carries with it a sacred truth, one that spiritual seekers often forget. Transformation does not always have to be heavy. Sometimes the healing comes through laughter. Sometimes the shift begins with a smile. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is allow yourself to feel good again. Number 23 is a celebration of imagination, curiosity, and connection. In numerology, it merges the vibrant self-expression of 2 with the boundless creativity of 3, a combination that opens the gates to wonder. It carries the frequency of divine play, of soul-level friendships, of spontaneous moments that shake your spirit awake in the most beautiful ways. It says you've done the work, you've made space. Now let joy move in. Let color return to your life. Let your inner child breathe again. This number is a gentle nudge toward the relationships that light you up, the ideas that inspire you, and the adventures you've been quietly dreaming of, but haven't yet allowed yourself to pursue. Astrologically, 23 vibrates with the breezy confidence of air signs. Gemini's wit, Libra's charm, Aquarius's imagination. It encourages you to speak your truth with ease, to laugh freely, to create without judgment, and to remember that the universe is not just wise, it is also wildly playful. Baba Vanga once said that the next age of humanity would be healed not through more control, but through connection. And Nostradamus wrote of a time when communion of hearts would lift society out of sorrow. Many believe this points directly to the vibration of numbers like 23 energies that prioritize joy not as a distraction, but as a sacred alignment. So take a breath, soft and full, close your eyes for just a moment. Imagine your life if you replaced your fear with curiosity, if you gave yourself permission to try, to explore, to speak, to share, to open. Not everything has to be perfect. Not everything needs a plan. Some of the most divine experiences begin without a script. What matters is your presence. What matters is the frequency you carry when you step into the moment. And right now, 23 invites you to step in with lightness, to trust that joy isn't the opposite of growth, it's the reward of it. Let yourself reach out to others. Let conversations become portals. Let your imagination lead. This number is your reminder that sometimes the fastest way to heal is to play again, to sing again, to dream without needing the dream to make sense. Joy is not the enemy of depth, it is its completion. And when 23 dances into your energy, it brings with it a truth most powerful of all. You are allowed to feel good. You are allowed to shine. You are allowed to be free. And now, we arrive at a vibration that does not rush to be seen, but stands with quiet strength, like a mountain beneath the moonlight. Number 17. A number of centered power, of intentional movement, of peace that does not come from escape, but from presence. Where some numbers burst forth with fire, 17 whispers through stillness. It is the reminder that true strength does not always roar. Sometimes it is silent, steady, anchored. It is the deep breath in a noisy world, the pause before the breakthrough, the still water that reflects the clearest vision of the sky. This number rises in harmony with the full moon, glowing not with chaos, but with clarity. It illuminates the space between desire and discipline, action and awareness, motion and rest. In numerology, 17 blends the leadership and independence of 1 with the mystical wisdom of 7, creating a divine balance between physical manifestation and spiritual insight. Together they add to 8, the number of karmic flow, prosperity, and aligned achievement. But unlike fast, forceful success, 17 teaches that the most lasting growth is the kind that doesn't cost your soul. It asks, can you reach your goals without losing your grounding? Can you chase your dreams without outrunning your peace? There is great power in knowing when to act, and when to wait, when to speak, and when to listen, when to build, and when to rest. Number 17 doesn't pull you in every direction. It steadies your focus. It realigns your compass. It reminds you that ambition fueled by anxiety leads to tessio, but ambition led by inner alignment becomes grace in motion. In a world obsessed with speed and urgency, 17 is a sacred rebellion, a choice to move mindfully, to do less, but with more meaning, to stop measuring worth by how much you produce and start measuring it by how deeply you feel, how truthfully you live, how softly you breathe while holding big vision. Astrologically, this number aligns with lunar calm and Saturnian structure, a marriage of intuition and discipline. It asks you to bring stillness into the structure of your life, to schedule space for silence, to find rhythm in your rest, and to recognize that burnout is not a badge of honor, but a signal that something sacred within you needs to be heard. Both Baba Vanga and Nostradamus spoke of an age where humans would need to return to balance, not just technologically, but spiritually. Nostradamus warned that the world would quicken until it fractures. Vanga foresaw that those who live simply will survive the storms of the mind. Seers knew the danger wasn't just external, it was the inner chaos we'd carry from forgetting how to be still. So, under the full moon's watchful light, let number 17 hold you like still waters. Let it wrap around your nervous system like a balm. Let it guide you into a new kind of success, one that does not require your suffering to prove your worth. Ask yourself gently, honestly, where am I overreaching, overworking, overproving? Where can I invite more tranquility into my pursuit? Where have I forgotten that peace is a power, not a pause? This month, let 17 teach you to move differently, not slower, not faster, but with presence, with harmony, with trust in divine timing, because peace and progress are not opposites. They are partners in your evolution. And number 17, calm, luminous, quietly wise, is here to walk beside you as you remember. Now, we enter softer territory, the quiet inner sanctum, a space less about doing and more about listening. Number 25 does not rush toward you, it waits for you to become still enough to hear it. It is the number of spiritual insight, intuitive knowing, and sacred surrender. Where other numbers lead you outward into creation and action, 25 calls you inward, to that secret space beneath the mind, where truth doesn't shout, but gently rises. Like a whisper through water, like a knowing in your bones. Its energy becomes especially potent under the influence of the supermoon, when the veil between thought and intuition thins, and what's hidden in the soul begins to surface. The moon swells, emotions peak, and your sensitivity deepens. In this moment, number 25 emerges like a soft voice in the wind, reminding you that not every question needs an answer right now, not every path needs to be forced open. Some things are unfolding behind the scenes, on timelines your mind cannot measure, but your spirit already understands. Numerologically, 25 combines the diplomatic grace of 2 and the adventurous intuition of 5, creating a frequency that says, slow down, tune in, trust the movement that begins within. Together, they form 7, the number of inner wisdom, introspection, and spiritual awakening. That's why 25 feels like a sacred pause, not a delay, but a recalibration. A sacred invitation to stop trying to control the unfolding and allow something greater to lead. Because the truth is, intuition does not come when you chase it. It comes when you surrender the chase altogether. It rises when silence settles, when the ego steps back, when the spirit steps forward. Baba Vanga often spoke about unseen forces guiding the awakened, and how those who develop inner vision will begin to navigate life in ways logic cannot comprehend. Nostradamus too left clues, encoded prophecies that implied a future where intuitive insight would become more valuable than intellectual strategy. Both seers knew the world would reach a point where the mind alone would no longer be enough. And here we are. Number 25 calls you to return, not to knowledge, but to knowing. To remember the part of you that already understands what comes next, even when your plans fall apart. So this July, let 25 guide you into divine trust. Let it remind you that surrender is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence. There is power in the pause, there is guidance in stillness, there is momentum building in your non-doing. But to receive it, you must become soft, receptive, present. Ask yourself, where am I trying too hard to make something happen? What if I stepped back, even for a moment, and allowed the universe to show me the next step? What if I stopped pushing and started listening? Let this be your permission to stop gripping so tightly, to release the weight of control, to trade anxiety for awareness. You are not falling behind, you are being repositioned, you are not lost, you are being realigned. And the answers you seek, they're not out there, they are already rising within you, gently, patiently, like moonlight breaking over still water. Let them come. Let number 25 show you that peace, clarity, and guidance are not things you earn. They are what remains when you finally get quiet enough to hear them. And now, as we near the end of this sacred spiral, number 9 arrives, not as a beginning, but as a blessing of endings, a deep exhale, a closing door that doesn't slam shut, but gently clicks into stillness. It is the number of completion, of emotional maturity, of wisdom gained not from books or beliefs, but from walking the winding path of your own human experience. Number 9 carries a soft authority. It does not demand closure. It invites it. It whispers, "You've learned enough from this chapter. You may let it go now." This number always arrives when something sacred is ready to be released, not because it failed, but because it fulfilled its purpose. And now, under the full moon's cleansing glow, number 9 stands like a lantern bearer at the edge of one path, waiting to walk you gently toward the next. In numerology, 9 is the last of the single digits. It holds the memory of all that came before it. It is the culmination of growth, the teacher of the soul, the healer of endings. And in July, it comes to you as a sacred invitation to honor what has passed and to make space for what is meant to come. This is not about burning bridges or rushing into reinvention. Number 9 is not chaotic. It is compassionate. It says, close the chapter, but do it with love. Lay the old version of yourself to rest, not with judgment, but with gratitude. Reflect not on what went wrong, but on how much you've grown. You have walked through doubt, through hope, through resistance, and return. And every step has led you here, to a moment where your heart knows what your mind still resists. Something must be released, for something greater to take its place. Astrologically, number 9 aligns with lunar reflection and Neptune's emotional depth, calling forth forgiveness, memory, and emotional grace. Baba Vanga once said, "The soul does not carry things, it carries truths." And Nostradamus wrote of a cycle that must end before humanity awakens to a higher frequency of love and wisdom. Both foresaw that great change requires great release, and number 9 is that sacred release. It holds the torch to illuminate all the energies, relationships, and patterns that have quietly expired but have yet to be let go. So ask yourself gently, truthfully, what chapter of your life is quietly asking to be closed? What burden do you carry out of habit, not out of purpose? What old story are you still telling yourself that no longer fits the soul you've become? Number 9 reminds you, completion is not failure. Closure is not weakness. Letting go is not forgetting. It is choosing peace over weight. It is choosing flow over force. It is choosing the truth of this moment over the illusion of the past. And once you release, once you exhale, once you bless what's behind you and turn forward with soft eyes and an open heart, you'll feel it. That quiet shift, that subtle lightness, that sacred readiness for whatever comes next. Because where 9 ends, the new cycle begins, and you are ready. And now, we arrive at the closing gift, the final frequency, veiled in moonlight and mystery. Number 77, the sacred echo, the master awakening, a number so rare, so resonant, it doesn't knock on your door often. When it does, it arrives not as a command, but as a calling, not as noise, but as knowing. This is not just a number, it is a portal, a double helix of divine insight, a mirror placed before your spirit saying, "You've come far, yes, but are you ready to truly awaken?" This number is a cosmic reflection, 7, doubled, amplified, intensified. 7 on its own is the seeker, the sage, the silent watcher of truth. But 77, it's the higher octave, the full embodiment. It doesn't just ask you to explore your inner world, it asks you to become it, to live from it, to walk as one who no longer separates the sacred from the simple, or the spiritual from the everyday. It's the vibration of total integration, where your wisdom is no longer just insight, but action, embodiment, presence. 77 says, you've learned, now, live it. And under this month's supermoon, when the veil is thinner, when the air buzzes with messages from the unseen, number 77 becomes even more potent. The supermoon magnifies your intuition. It lifts the volume of your inner voice. It brings forward dreams, signs, synchronicities, and in this luminescent moment, 77 enters, like a spiritual alignment code, tuning your life to the frequency of your highest self, not your loudest self, not your most productive self, your most aligned self, the version of you that does not strive, but simply knows. Baba Vanga once prophesied that a time would come when more and more people would hear the voice behind the voice. Nostradamus spoke of a future era when those with inner vision will guide the outer world. Many mystics believe 77 is the numeric signature of that era, the master wave that activates truth seekers into truth bearers. You're no longer here to search, you're here to become. So ask yourself now, beneath the lunar glow, in the quiet space of your heart, am I trusting the whispers within? Am I making space each day to listen, not just to the noise of the world, but to the guidance that arises when the world fades into silence? 77 teaches that divine wisdom is not something you find outside of you, it's something you remember within you. It's already there, beneath the doubt, beneath the conditioning, beneath the rush. And when you begin to trust it, not just in meditation, but in movement, in money, in relationships, in creation, your life begins to flow in extraordinary ways. Let 77 be your master key. Let it remind you that you are not separate from the divine. You are a vessel of it. Let it guide you to balance your outer ambition with inner peace. Let it show you that success without soul is noise, but success with alignment, that's music, and you're the instrument. This month, don't just tune in, tune yourself. Align your rhythm with the divine song already playing through your life. Let 77 open the gateway, not to more effort, but to deeper ease. Not to more answers, but to higher understanding. You are not just waking up, you are rising into mastery. And so, here they are. The Sacred Six. 15. The Flame of Transformation and Renewal. 23. The Laughter of Joyful Connection and Exploration. 17. The Still Waters of Tranquility and Balanced Progress. 25. The Whisper of Deep Intuition and Sacred Surrender. 9. The Closing Breath of Completion and Emotional Release. 77. The Divine Chord of Awakening and Soul Alignment. Together they don't just make a list, they compose a cosmic blueprint, a vibrational symphony guiding you through the rhythms of July. These aren't numbers meant to be studied, they're meant to be felt, lived, embodied. Each one is a light on the map of your becoming, illuminating not just where you're going, but who you're here to remember you are. Let them move through you like music. Let them anchor your mornings, soften your evenings, and guide your choices when the world feels unclear. Let them lift your thoughts, ground your actions, and awaken the part of you that already knows the way. Because this month, you don't have to force the shift, you just have to align with it. Type it, speak it, own it, in your spirit. I welcome abundance, transformation, and clarity. I align with the universe. Let your words become your frequency. Let your intention become your path. And if this journey touched something in you, if it sparked insight, if it opened your heart, if it stirred your soul, then support the light. Subscribe, share, stay connected. We're not just watching numbers, we're witnessing energy, We're learning the language of the universe, and we're learning to speak it fluently. Your future is not waiting. It's already unfolding. The signs are here. The energy is ready. Now ask yourself, not with fear, but with faith, are you ready to walk into it? Awaken,